If you work in tourism, there is a good chance that you deal with yield management. You're balancing staffing and pricing to make sure that you're maximizing your revenue. Your booking engine, of course, provides some data about capacity utilization, but you don't have to be limited to the reporting that they provide. If you can export that data and get it into the right format, you can get a nice visual overview of which tour slots were full and which ones still had capacity to sell. So as you can see here, this type of report is really quick to digest. I can see that we've been having trouble filling Thursday late afternoons and most of the earliest slots each day. Now, that's just during July, August, and September, though. If I use a slicer to look at June, the data changes, and I can see that I filled all of our available slots late Thursday afternoons. Of course, the next thing that I need to look at is volume. So if I scroll down to my capacity chart for June, I can see that I only had 28 slots available to fill. Now, this is still helpful because on my yield chart, I can see that on Sundays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I was able to fill virtually every slot that was available. But according to my capacity report, my availability those days was pretty low. So this helps me very quickly see where I could probably add capacity and still fill it. Now, this slicer that you saw up here is really handy because you can look at 1 month at a time, or you can select an entire range of months and look at an entire season at a time. Or you can even flip this to quarters and easily select different quarters as well. All right, now if you know Excel, I'm going to give you a quick 4-step overview of how you can create this yourself. Now, this isn't a full tutorial. You'll need to know how to do some things like use pivot tables, but hopefully this helps. So first of all, get your data in the right format. Here's a sample layout. If you're used to creating pivot tables, you know that this type of layout looks familiar to you. It's really important that you do it this way or somehow similar to this. Secondly, you're going to use that information to create a pivot table. And then you're going to group the times by however you like, using Excel's pivot table grouping feature. Now, to keep this manageable, I grouped by hour, and that's the primary view I'm looking at, but I can still expand to individual time slots as well. Third, you're going to add a slicer for the date range, and I usually use months here for this slicer. And then lastly, you just add conditional formatting to give you a nice visual overview of which slots you were able to fill easily and which ones had a lot of excess capacity. Hopefully that helps you get a digestible overview of your capacity utilization.